Hi, this is Deborah at Dinglefoot's, and this week I have a very easy spring card, and it does have a lot of little pieces, but once you have them cut out, it's very easy to make. So I started out with a glitter card, and you don't have to use glitter or anything. You could use plain white or dark brown, whatever you want to use. And then I cut a piece of paper that's just slightly smaller. And what I did with this piece of brown paper is I took my Tim Holtz wood grain folder here and I just ran my piece of paper right through that so I'd have a nice design on my paper. And then I cut out this cute little bird, and you can get all sorts of punches that make little birds. This one I happened to cut out on the Cricut 3 Birds on Parade, and I just made it 1 inch. So it's just a tiny little bird. And then I just wanted some greenery, so you could use leaves or whatever you want to use. I used a punch that has this little fern-like leaf on it. So cut out a couple of those, and then I got a piece of vellum paper and stamped my little thank you. This one says, "What would I do without you? Thanks." And I put this as wide as my brown paper right here. And I'm going to be attaching that with brads because of the vellum. It's very hard to attach it with any kind of adhesive and not have it show through. So I'm just going to use brads for that. And then a fun little thing I'm adding is this copper wire. So you could do this with any kind of craft wire, or you could even use something stiff, maybe a twine or something that you can make into a round circle. Now there's an easy trick to make this, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Just one more thing to mention, I'm going to be using some walnut stain ink just to bring out that wood grain pattern on my paper. But first of all, I'm going to show you how I made my little wreath thing. This is going to be a wreath with a bird sitting in it. And I just took a bottle of lotion. Just find something that's round, like about the width that you want. So then I took my craft wire, and I don't know how much I have here, probably 24 inches or so. It's getting kind of tangled up. Let's see if I can smooth that out there. It doesn't matter if it has a few tangles in it. This is very thin wire, and it gets tangled up easily. So all I'm doing is just taking my craft wire, and I'm just going to try to hold one end here. Just wrap it right around the bottle. Just like that. Then when you get it wrapped, just slide it right off the bottom. And what I'm going to do is to start keeping it together, I'm going to take those ends that I have there and just kind of wrap them around just to keep it together. And then you can clip it off. You could cut it off really close if you're concerned about somebody getting poked on it. But then I'm just going to use a couple more ends and then just tie it here and there. I tied my other one in 4 places, but I just put the ends around. I don't tie them or anything. I actually just bend them right around the wreath, just like that. And so if you do that in a couple more places, it will all stay together. So I have mine, of course, it's already made here. And we're going to start by taking the walnut stain. I'm going to get my pieces put together and then get everything put on the front. And don't worry, this is dry ink. I actually washed this sponge. I use my things over and over. Just get some kind of makeup sponge or something like that so you can dab it in your ink and just rub it right over that design. So I'm just kind of sponging over there. If you get any spots where you can see where you wipe the sponge, just go over them again and just rub them a little more to get that ink worked through there. So I like that wood grain so much, and I didn't want it to disappear into the background, so that's why I'm using the ink to bring out that pretty design. And then second, I'm going to poke holes through my vellum so that I can attach this right across my card with the brad. So I'm going to place it where I want it. Just use a needle, poke a hole through it, and then you have a nice place all ready for your brad. And so of course I used copper brads because I wanted it to match my copper wire. So I'm going to do another one on this side. Right there. And see if I can get my brad pushed through there. If you've never used brads before, they're really easy. They have two little metal legs on the back. You push both of them through the hole, spread them out on the back, and just flatten them. And I like to come in from the other side and just push them down really well. Okay, I think this needs a little trim right here. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to put the rest of the card together. So this part here is just going to go right on the front of my card, and then we'll go ahead and put the wire and all that on. For the wire, I'm going to be using hot glue, just because I don't really know of any other quick way to go about it for such a thin embellishment. So the nice thing about hot glue is that it dries very fast, so once you get your thing where you want it, it's going to stay put, and you don't have to worry about putting something on top of it to hold it in place. So I'll get that double-sided tape and put that on the front there. And then my wire is just going to go here. So I'm going to carefully put some little dots of hot glue around this. I'll just lay it right toward the center here. I'm going to wipe off a little bit of that hot glue there. There we go. Stuck right in place. And so it looks a little plain now, but we're going to put some of these greenery things on there. Let's see if I can get a little bit right in there to hold that part down. So, I'm not really afraid of using my hot glue gun, as you can see. If you wait just a second, the glue cools off, but if you're afraid of getting burned, it might be best to use some other kind of adhesive and then just set something right on top of that and just let it sit there till it dries. But I've been using my hot glue gun forever, so I kind of know how many seconds there to wait without burning my fingers. So it doesn't bother me any to use hot glue for things. But I'm going to start putting some of my little green leaves. I'm still using the hot glue. I'll just put a few on here, and then we're going to make sure that Birdie gets a spot. I'm just alternating with the green there. So just a dark and a light, and a light and a dark. Then next my bird's going to go on here, and I'm going to put a really good glob of glue on the back so it stands up a little bit. Otherwise I could use a pop dot or a foam dot or whatever, but I want my bird to stand up tall. So I'm going to put a dab of hot glue on there, let it cool down just a little bit, and then I'm going to stick it right there. I think I need another little bit up here. I don't want it to sink down in. Okay. And if you ever get strings of hot glue on things, a great tool is a heat embossing tool that you use for embossing powder. Just heat it up and you'll be able to pull that glue right off. The strings will, sometimes they just disappear, so. Okay, so I'm going to put this greenery so it's up over the bird just a little bit. You can see that there. And do the same with this one. And there we go. This card is finished. Thanks so much for watching.